Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Sorry about the few minutes delay there. We're just kind of working on some of the sound system. Somebody was just asking here about the QR code on the screen. That's it right there. They should be seeing that. Yeah, so the QR code will bring you to the scoring, the member scoring sheet. So yeah, pull that up definitely on your phone or iPad or whatever you're using. And then save that on your iPhone. And then as we get to the image competition, that will be used for the members to do the voting. Cory McDonald, you're on. You don't have to use that because you won't be using that for doing the scoring. The judge later on, as you go through the critiques and so forth, you'll be giving scores separately from that system. So anyways, once again, thank you everybody tonight for joining us. For being July 3rd, right, the day before the holiday, we have a really good sized group here in the Civic Center in Lone Tree. We've got people that are also gathering, a handful of people that are out there on Zoom. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully everybody has a good and safe holidays coming up and that, but thank you again for joining us tonight. Also, I wanted to mention that for tonight we have this is our image competition. We have Cory McDonald as the judge. He's joining us all the way from Monroeville, Alabama. So thank you, Cory, for agreeing to judge. I think we have 60 something images tonight. Is that about what we are? Yeah, somewhere right around 60. So it's a manageable number on that. So when we get to the competition, I would guess probably 45 seconds or so per image would get us through that in about the right amount of time would be great. Again, tonight the themes are environmental portraits and high key. I do want to apologize to some that when it comes to one of those categories, the environmental portraits. We talked about it a couple of times in the meetings, and I think I gave a little bit of the definitions out a couple of times. But apologize for those that weren't able to attend those meetings because there really wasn't a formal definition that was sent out in the emails, and I don't think on our website. So I think there was a little bit of confusion on that, a couple of misunderstandings and so forth. So once again, some apologies for that. As far as what that was intended to be, is environmental portrait is a photograph portrait that captures subjects in their natural surroundings instead of, say, a studio or artificial setup. It's designed to, I'll say capture people who are doing what they do, whether it's at work, whether it's some of their hobbies and so forth. But with the scene that they're in, the environment is part of that, as opposed to just a portrait in a studio. So that was the idea. But once again, apologize that may not have come across in some of the instructions that we had that went out. Do you want to go through a couple of the other things that we have coming up here in the next couple of months? We've got July 24th, we have our annual scavenger hunt meeting. So that's the night of the meeting. This year, as we have mentioned before and it's out on the website, but this year is a little bit different. Instead of having just a list of things that you go out and photograph specific items, we have this year, it's a 50-day photo project. You don't have to take photos all 50 days. In fact, if you haven't started yet, it's not too late. You just have to, between now and July 21st, go out and take some, images that are, and it could be whatever your definition is of a project. I'll give a couple of examples in a second here and that. But as far as what we'll be doing is we'll be submitting 4 images. We won't be judging on each specific image as far as a score, but it's more or less it'll be based on the project that you're submitting. We do have awards for second, third. First place is a free annual membership. Second place is, I think, half off of an annual membership, and third place is $5 off of a membership. So if you get first, second, or third, it does force you to still remain a member in that. That's part of that's one of the requirements that are in there for winning. Going back to what that can be. So you could pick any type of project. You share 4 images that help convey the message of that project. There's no restrictions. Obviously, it has to be something that's reasonable and safe. But there's plenty of resources out there on the internet. I will give a couple of examples that I've heard other people talk about that they're looking at doing. One would be, shoot the same subject over and over again, but just in different environments. It could also be as simple as shooting your kid's sporting event every weekend or pet twice a week. I seem to always get that one in anyways. An intriguing building or tree near your home multiple times, different, weather situations or patterns or whatever. A macro photography project, or taking photos using a specific lens all the way through, or maybe a lens with a specific focal length all the way through. Again, those are examples. You can, reach out and, find other things that are but they could also be constituted as a project. The other upcoming events, we have August 7th, the image competition, and that's so next month, I guess roughly a month away from today, first Wednesday in August. And that one is open, so no themes. The judge is Cheryl Opperman. She was here with us a few months ago and gave a great presentation. And so we're looking forward to having her judge. That's on August 7th. And then August 21st, we have a presentation night, and that's going to be light painting with Russell Klimas. Because I will say this, it's not just light painting, like take dark and kind of wand and put light on an image. He actually creates, in a dark setting, in that he creates patterns and so forth with wands, and that the light becomes the actual subject in some of those cases in that. So you won't want to miss that one. That's August 21st. Let's see here, a couple of other things that are coming up also in that. We have Darren White here tonight, and he has a night sky workshop that's September 6th, 7th, and 8th out in Eastern Colorado. And you can sign up for 1, 2, or all 3 of those nights. And it's a private, as we know, Darren does a lot of night photography workshops for others, just as part of his business, but he's giving a special discounted rate to Lone Tree Photo Club members for this specific workshop at $99 for one night, $150 for 2 nights, and $229 for 3 nighs. So when you look out there at night photography workshops, you'll see that this is actually a very good bargain at that. And again, you can sign up for 1, 2, or 3. They'll begin at 6:30 each of those nights. That way it allows time to get sunset, blue hour in the foregrounds, and run till roughly 3 a.m. So it's enough time to get Milky Way, star trails, and all those other fun things that are fun to photograph at night. And if you're interested, I believe that the way that we find this, I looked it up the other day, and that it's actually out on Darren's website, and he has in his workshop listings, he's got one there's specifically out there as a private event for the Lone Tree Photo Club. Yeah, I'm trying to make at least 1 or 2 of those nights myself. I will add that too, is that a lot of us have been out on Darren's workshops. I'm fortunate to have been on one, and you learn a lot, and you will come back with some great images that night, or those nights, I should say. One other thing I was going to mention here tonight also is sitting next to me, Tamara Rimpley. Special congratulations. She has an image that was recently selected to be published in a book, The Crane Trust, I believe it is. Yeah. So, and she said that she was actually with Cheryl Opperman when she took that photo. So our judge in August is part of the story behind that. So congratulations on that. And then in a minute here, we've got some awards here from past competitions that we've got some of those people that are here tonight. So I'll do that here. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do that right now, and then I'll do an introduction of yeah.
Could I add comment about the scavenger hunt?
Yep. Yep.
We're going something to be posted on the website as how to submit these, because I know there'll be questions about that. There's a special category called scavenger hunt.
Yep.
And so since each image is not being named or judged separately, what you should do is in the title of the image, put your project name and put -1 for if you want images in a certain order, for example, 1, 2, 3, and 4, so you can evaluate it, so people can look at how you want that. Do your project name -1, project name -2 with each image 3, 4 that you submit. And that way we will be able to present them in the way that you want them.
Okay, great. And thank you for bringing that up, because somebody else had asked me that question a couple days ago in that. And yes, in the same way that we go in and submit our images for tonight, a competition, or when we do the exhibition night, there's a third category in that one that's specifically for the scavenger hunt. So thank you for bringing that up. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and these are some of the awards that we made the announcements at prior meetings for prior competitions and that, but the winners weren't here the night that we were giving these away. So this one, second place, digital monochrome, and this goes to Tony Lazzari with Really Nice. Good job. And we have, here's another one, second place, digital color, Tony Lazzari with Skylights. Honorable mention, digital color. Sorry, I took these out of the envelope, so I can't say whether it's, I know this is in the advanced category, but this one goes to Karina Zaragoza for morning forage. It says advanced on the back, so I'll just, now I know how to do this. So here we have one that's advanced, and it's digital monochrome, third place. And this one goes to Michael Rhino for Pikes Peak View. Second place, digital monochrome advanced. And this one goes to Karina Zaragoza for Great Blue Storm. Yeah. Okay, this one, here we go, is third place, digital monochrome, and this one is in beginner intermediate, and it goes to Tamara Rimpley for Winter's Long Shadows. Honorable mention, digital monochrome. This one is also in the beginner intermediate category, and it goes also to Tamara Rimpley for Majestic Stare. And honorable mention, digital color in beginner intermediate, and Tamara is on a roll here. So Tamara Rimpley with Splish Splash. Let's go with this one here is Judges Award, digital color. And this one is beginner intermediate monochrome. And guess who? Tamara Rimpley. And okay, digital color Judges Award. Let's see, Tamara Rimpley for Midair Collision.
I haven't been here before.
So the last one that I've got, we have other awards in here, but as far as people who are here tonight that haven't picked these up before, second place, and this is digital color, and this one goes to Tony Lazzari for Mountain Flow. Congratulations, everybody, for this award. With that, okay, so now I'm going to go through and a quick introduction of Cory McDonald. Thank you once again, Cory, for joining us tonight. Cory's a portrait, wildlife, and landscape photographer, and he's considered a photographic artist based on the amazing creativity that he comes up for his images. A subject for his portraits include high school seniors, headshots, families, children, animals, and his favorites of all of those are being the high school seniors and athletes. Photography allows Cory to create images that families and young people can look back on for years to come. His clients actually oftentimes seek him out, sometimes from out of state, for the unique style he's known for. So he doesn't necessarily look to, a lot of times it's not for the standard in studio or the high school senior portrait that we oftentimes see, but his, like I say, are extremely creative. I'm going to share a couple of examples of those here in a second. Within Professional Photographers of America, he's earned various degrees, including Certified Professional Photographer, Master of Photography, Master Artist, and Photographic Craftsman. His list of awards is lengthy, and I'd be here all night if I went through all of those. I think I've counted 46 of them that were out on his website. But some of the highest levels are within PPA, within Texas Professional Photographers, West Texas Professional Photographers, and Sync. On a separate note, I was going to add too that he was an instructor a couple years back at a conference with professional photographers of Colorado, and while he was out here, he stayed an extra couple days. So I took him. So I took him up to Rocky Mountain National Park, where he hadn't been before. And that morning, he got the first time in his life he had seen a lake that was frozen over. So it was kind of a funny story that was there.
That's a good treat.
Yeah. It was a lot. We had a lot of fun. We saw some animals. We didn't see a lot of them, but we got some real good landscape images in that. With that, I'm gonna can I show you a share screen real quick?
Sure.
I'm just gonna go through. He's got a category he has here of some of his what he calls epic photos and that. So I'm just gonna scroll through a couple of them real quick. But when I talked about creativity and some of what he does for athletes and high school seniors, these are just some of the things that he creates for his clients. Some of that might be a little bit cut off, but. Okay. All right, I'll unscreen, but I just wanted to share, because some of them are pretty amazing there with as far as something just being a little bit different than what we normally see. So thank you. With that, I'll let Jane, do you want to go ahead and unless anybody has any other questions?
Last time I was the one that did not have my phone off and it rang. So I've got my phone off, so I would encourage everybody else, so put it on private or something, so it doesn't ring while we're going through it. Anyway. But what we'll do is first of all, go through all of the images so you could vote. I hope everybody has looked at the QR code and has it on their phone. And with that, I'll share my screen. And we'll start out with the digital beginner intermediate digital color. This one's called Changing Faces, Szechuan Opera.
All right, so I thought this was interesting. I've never seen any of these. What do you call them? I can't remember what they're called, but I've never seen this before, so I thought it was interesting. I gave it a 6. I felt like the light coming just kind of straight in like that was just kind of throwing me off looking at it, but ultimately I thought it was pretty interesting.
Denver Art Museum.
So I gave this one a 7. I again, it's also interesting. I love the triangles, and I love all of the points that's keeping me kind of finding all the leading lines through there. I feel like we had a little bit too much sky, but also since I've never been to the Denver Art Museum, I'm not sure exactly if that's the only angle we could get, but I'm enjoying that.
Emmett at GU.
So I gave this one a 5. I think it's an interesting way to show what Emmett does and what he's doing. I'm assuming Denver University is DU. But I feel like there was some sort of overlay applied to the image that was really distracting me from what I really wanted to enjoy about it, which is Emmett's enjoyment.
For looks only.
So this one gets an 8 from me, because I feel like 2 stories are being told here and they're both interwoven so well. So I really love this. I've never seen a motorcycle in a barbershop, which is really cool. So yeah, for looks only, I totally get it. I'm into that. I wish I could do that.
Generational.
So here, I love the story that's being told up front, where we've got dad and this little girl, or grandpa and this little girl, or boy. No, that's a boy. Y'all, you gotta understand where we're at in Alabama. This is what boys and the girls look like. It was time of day with the sky in the back, so I gave this a 5 because we've got those blown out clouds that are just pulling me up and keeping me up, so I don't get to enjoy the story that's going on here between these two relatives.
What was your score on it, Cory?
5.
Okay, thank you. Give me a break.
So it's I have to look at it for just a minute because I was looking at them earlier and they kind of went away a little bit fast while I was trying to look. So give me just a second, because this one I find to be funny. This is totally me at whenever I'm doing work, whenever I'm doing my odd job work. But the dude's sitting there smoking a cigarette, checking his phone, looking down the street. I get this total environment. So I gave this one a 7. I feel like the sky in the back where it's, going into that, into the distance, is a little bit too bright for the image that we want to find on the left. But all in all, this is a great environmental piece.
Ivy.
This one I struggled with trying to find the point of interest, because right now it's just the vine and the ivy is still growing. So I'm kind of, I couldn't really figure out where to land. I put this one at a 5, but again, I couldn't figure out where I was supposed to land within the image, and then I couldn't figure out where I was supposed to land with that score.
Lantana.
So I gave this one a 5 as well. I think that it can be great. It's the overexposure in it that's causing all the blown out highlights within the leaves, within the flowers themselves. If we could tone that down in the camera settings, then I feel like this would be a very colorful and vibrant image. But as it stands, it was just so blown out and so bright, I couldn't find any good detail.
Olympic dreams.
So this was an 8 for me, and I would totally go all the way to 10 here. But we've got this white vignette that's going around the entire image, and it's pulling me away from this the dude has been knocked out and the dude that's celebrating that he knocked somebody out. But I'm being pulled up into the every single corner because of this white vignette that's coming in. But I really love the story going on here, and I feel like this is a perfect way to show off what this gentleman does.
One eye on you.
So I landed a 6 here. I feel like we need a little bit more contrast because the capture of the bird is perfect. There's just kind of this softness within the image. I can look closer and I see that it's sharp. But when I'm back here, it just feels kind of soft through the whole bird. And I know that is how birds look. Their feathers are soft. So I'm just trying to go back and forth there. I landed at a 6 on this, like I said, but I really like this, and I really would like to know how he got to that angle without the bird flying off.
Saguaro cactus.
Yeah, so this one was also a 5 for me. Again, we've got another white vignette going around that's just really burning the image out. And I get what's supposed to happen there. It's like it's, burning in or burning out or something like that. But we've also just got some overexposure and time of day within the image. I think a little bit later or maybe way earlier in the morning and get rid of that white vignette and just give me the whole image so that I can enjoy what I'm looking at.
Scrambling to order.
So this image makes me hungry, and I've already eaten, so that's going to be a struggle for the rest of the night. This is a great story to show what this man is doing for a living, what's going on with the restaurant, but I just overall, the image quality wasn't quite there for me, so I landed at 5. So I think we could do something different with post-processing, because I think either some noise removal was used or something to that effect to give it just sort of this and I can't even really describe it, the sort of effect that's going across the image. I can't really, I don't know what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. But I feel like this noise removal, some sort of filter was used.
Solemn duty.
So I landed at 5 on this one as well. It's supposed to be this very beautiful, solemn moment between these two people getting married. I don't know if there's a beach in Colorado, but I'm just gonna call it a beach. And I can't really explain what's happening in the sky and where it's meeting the water, other than just this, all of a sudden horizon where everything is just white and blown out. And then there's a crunchiness over the whole image that has just kind of distracted me from the fact that these two are getting married right here.
The quiet hour.
I wanted to love this so much, but it's so our main bird is so out of focus that it just kind of blends in with everybody else. I was at a 5 on this one as well. I would have, and I understand that it's being photographed through the fog. I've done it before, so I know exactly how difficult that is. But again, because there's really nowhere to focus on, I ended up at 5 there.
Tech homeschool style.
So I was at 5 here as well, because of several things. We called it Votech homeschool style, and yet we're using Ryobi equipment. But you know what? I'm going to have to go look and make sure Votech doesn't make Ryobi. But I just, again, kind of struggled with image quality and where I'm supposed to land here. So I was at a 5.
Wind blowing.
So I got to 7 here. I really love what's being told here, and I think I am not a forester, but I think those are little tiny pine trees. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Whoever's there, if I'm wrong, correct me on what I'm looking at. But I think that's what I'm looking at here. I feel like they were a little bit underexposed, but again, I'm also enjoying the idea of this silhouette and the story coming through and this wind coming through. So yeah, great job there.
We have a tie on 2 pictures.
Olympic dreams. So you need to pick a tiebreaker.
For looks only, Olympic dreams. This one?
And this is me, right?
Yeah, it's breaking the ties on the 2 8s, right?
Yeah.
So if I already know, I can just say it.
Yeah, if you know.
If you know which one.
For looks only.
Okay, we're going to go to advanced digital color. All right, asphalt canvas.
So I was at a 6 here. I enjoy the story that's happening. I enjoy the perspective that the maker wanted to get, where it appears that these butterflies are coming out of the ground. And so I gave this one a 6 because I couldn't figure out where to land with all of the shadows coming in. And of course, we can't help that it's a sidewalk and there's people walking through. So I wasn't too bothered by that. But then I kind of got bothered by this white shoe up here in the top left. And that on top of couldn't figure out where to land there. But all in all, I think this is great. So a good job.
Avocet.
So that was a 5 on this one. I want to enjoy it, but it's so blown out and so bright that I felt like we could have toned down in the camera settings, maybe bump up that shutter speed somehow. But it's just kind of like a bird's head connected to a line that's disappearing into the background. So that was bothersome for me.
Creating sound.
So I'm at an 8 here. Enjoying the story being told. Making sound, I can only assume music because we've cropped off whatever it is that she's banging. Otherwise, I'd have been all the way at 10, but I can't see what she's banging on to make music. We've got a lot going on behind her. I can see the gong hanging, so I know there's a gong behind her. So that makes me know that this is a percussion, but I can't tell what kind of percussion because that's been cut off. So I would like to see a little bit more at that bottom. But well done exposure wise.
Ethereal. So
Well, it says ethanol, so that's why I had to. I was like, wait a minute. So I was at an 8 on this one as well. And normally, like I said, that you know what, I just noticed something. Can I change that score now?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can change anytime, yep.
Okay, I just noticed something that is now bothering me. So I'm going to talk about the thing that I enjoyed the most about it as I adjust the score to 6. I enjoy the fact that there's light that's coming through these pedals, and I'm not losing detail, but it's ethereal. And that story is being told very well there. Unfortunately, I noticed that we've got just kind of some dark smudging coming in at the top left corner that's taking me out of the ethereal and into some technicality. But well done with everything that's inside of that image.
Frank the blacksmith.
So I'm at an 8 on this as well. I'm enjoying the story that's told here. I'm enjoying that I can see that he's a blacksmith. I can see what he's working on. I can see everything behind him. I feel like the fire is a little bit too bright there, and that's all I'm, but if all my eyes are seeing, but if I just cover that up and go around the rest of it, I can find things to enjoy, but well done there.
Frank the blacksmith version 2.
All right, so I'm at a 6 on this one, and on this occasion, I actually like that the fire's bright. So we just go back and forth. We are completely all over the place when it comes to fire. It's giving us a good light source to light his face. It's letting us know what he does, not just that he's got tools, but what he's doing. I just wish that our arm wasn't cut off right there, just kind of going right out of the frame. But the rest of the image was well done.
Gliding along.
So I'm at an 8 here. I think that the first of all, this whole bird is tack sharp. I can see all the detail on those feathers. I can see that they're sharp. I can enjoy the whole bird and not see it, going out of focus, which happens a lot, So I'm really enjoying that. So great capture there. The background's fine. I can tell that it's foggy and bright. So well done there. I was in that at 8.
Greek icon artist.
So I'm at a 6 here. I'm enjoying seeing what she's into. I'm enjoying seeing that she's an artist. The thing for me though is when I look at the hair, I feel like something's going on in that hair that's not going on in the rest of her. And then when I look in the back to see what else we can see, when I look into the background and see what I'm supposed to be finding and what I'm supposed to be looking at that's lending more to what she's doing, I'm seeing a lot of banding and a lot of color shifting going on that wall and above her painting materials just behind her head. And so that to me was just kind of a control of technicality there. I was at a 6.
Looking for the perfect composition.
So I landed at a 5 on here. And we want to like it because we're photographers, but there was so much camera shake, and I can see it throughout the entire image, except for on him where I guess an effect's been applied to help remove camera shake, but it just didn't come together well with the fact that it was masked on and not onto the flowers that are going on around it. I was at a 5.
On the edge.
I was at a 9 here. This is stunning. There's just this quality that I can't even put a word to with what I'm looking at. I see a slight overexposure. That's why it's not a 10. Slight overexposure in the top half of the image, but otherwise phenomenal.
Playing for Guinness.
So I'm at a 6 here. I really love what's happening here. She's playing the violin, and obviously either she's drunk or other people are drunk. I don't know, but there's a lot of beer and a lot of wine down there. So it's, it's great that she's still performing. There's just a quality to the image that was not quite up to par with what we expect kind of advanced wise. So I was at a 6 here. But I feel like some sort of noise removal was used once again, and it just kind of gave it a mushy feeling throughout.
Saturday at the park.
I kind of like this one as well, but I can see something has been done to this image that doesn't quite add up for me. We've got bright light on him, and then in the background it's just really, really dark. So I feel like something was done, and I can't tell you what it was. Maybe they went in and masked it down, but I can see it. I can see it coming in onto him because he is feathering off focus, but the masking wasn't done properly, and so it's a halo all the way around him, and some of it's coming into his hat right there on the bill on the right and the left. Technique used wasn't quite there for advanced as well. 5.
Solitude.
10 out of 10. This is just fantastic. I don't even think there's a good enough word to say how awesome this is. Well done is, I mean, again, I'm lost for words here because I feel like this is so perfect for the story. Is this just man walking through the desert in solitude, and no words. 10 out of 10.
The boss lady.
So I gave this one a 9, and I would have been 10 on here as well. But we've just got some exposure issues going on in the boat and the flagpole there that are kind of pulling me away from Boss Lady, and we need to stay focused on Boss Lady because Boss Lady looked like if you don't stay focused on her, she's gonna have something to say. But well done here. Fantastic. Do we say reportage at Lone Tree? I don't know. It kind of sounds a little too fancy, but fantastic there.
The librarian.
So I was at a 5 here. So I'm gonna talk about this image a little bit longer than others because I feel like this image is perfect for a librarian. She is framed so well. I can see that she's in a library. I can see all the books that are around her. We can't tell what kind of books they are. So she is just kind of this whole story being told within a story. If I'm making sense with that. However, her skin tone's green. She's green, and the whole image kind of in that lower and middle part is green. And I know that people are not green. So I would land it on a 5 here.
Okay, we're going to go to Pro Digital Color. Drink Up.
I landed on a 6 here because I feel like even with the time of day being what it was, it's still a good exposure for that time of day. I think it would have been better off black and white, but that's just kind of my opinion. You take that with a grain of salt. We've got an issue going on in the right side of the image, all the way on that far right border. I'm not sure what that is, but it's like a pattern going up. So watch out for that.
Smile.
So I landed on a 7 here. I think it's telling the story well. However, I would not have known that he was a dentist had I not seen the Alpine Vista Dental word behind him. So I would like to be able to tell that he's a dentist more than having to read, because apparently in modern society, people don't read. I do. But excellent job. And I also love the fact that they use, I'm assuming, a gel that may be the light from the equipment, but I'm going to call it a gel, to kind of turn everything blue except for him and his face. So I get to stay right there in that face. So well done there as well.
Whittling Away.
10 out of 10. This is perfect. There's absolutely nothing that I can say about this image to help improve it. It is already there. I know what he does for a living. I know that he enjoys it. I can see it in his fingers. I can see it in his face, and I can see all the detail in his face, and I can see all the detail in the background as well. So whoever captured this, phenomenal.
Beginner, intermediate, black and white. It's a roll up.
So I'm at a 7 here. I appreciate that I can see not only what they do by what they're wearing and what they're rolling up, but we've got the South Metro Fire Rescue there. So we know something's happening here where they got to put the fire out, or maybe they're training. I don't know, but you can tell that this is, I don't know if any of y'all have ever rolled one of these up, but they're not light. They're not our regular garden hoses. So this is, very fun to watch, not very fun to do. I wish that we were a little bit straighter, because if I look over there to the right, I can tell that we're not quite straightened up, but excellent capture.
Late afternoon.
So I'm at a 6 on here. This is going to be one of those that is very, very fun and cool to look at. I wish that we had pulled back a little bit so we could see the shadows from the little brush down here in the bottom not go out of frame and stay in the frame so that it's contained. But y'all get all the cool stuff out there.
Nesting material.
10 out of 10. Absolutely nothing I can say to help improve this. 10 out of 10. I can't even talk about it anymore than that.
Okay. Peak.
10 out of 10 again. This is just a great architectural moment in photography. It's so simple, but it's also complex when you go in to look at all the different shades of gray and black, and then just surrounded by white. Very well done.
Piano Man.
So I'm at a 5 on here. And y'all have to forgive me. I think the zoom is kind of throwing some magenta in there for some reason. So just forgive me on that when I'm looking at the black and white. I get that he's at a piano. I'm just, I wish I could see more of the piano so we could say that he's a piano man. But to me, he's just kind of sitting on the stool. And then again, that technique, that filter that's been applied to it is just giving it a mushy feeling over the whole image and a crunchy feeling going down his back.
Reflection of the fountain.
So I'm at a 6 on this. The fountain and everything that's around it there is fantastic. Even the crunchiness, I feel, lends to this artistic piece. But we've got this white vignette going all the way around it that's kind of coming into the environment we're looking at and blowing it out and pulling me away from the fountain. But we want to stay in the fountain, but I'm just being pulled out. I don't even get to see the reflection down at the bottom because I'm pulled out of this white vignette. So I was at a 6.
Sunday Men's Club.
I had a 7 here. This is a great story being told. And you know what? I'm actually changing. I'm changing that to a 9. This is a great story being told. It took me a second. I can see that these guys are Asian, so I was like, okay, well, it's just a bunch of guys standing around. And then I look up, and to complete the story, it's Chinese writing at the top along these poles. And that kind of completes the story that says, okay, so this is a cultural gathering. So well done, capture story, all that. Good job.
Taming the Flame.
So I'm at a 6 on this one. I'm not sure, where to land here. We obviously have the flame there. He's taming it. But I'm just kind of bouncing all around and just trying to find my way through it. I'm on a 6 here. I think we could have seen a little bit more, so pull out of it a little bit.
Tea ceremony.
I'm at a 7 on this one. I'm not familiar with any tea ceremony or any kind of ceremony in this situation, so I do apologize if I say something that's kind of, you know, well, this is what they do. So I kind of wish I could see what he's doing on the other side, but at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to see that. So I landed right here at a 7, and I do apologize if maybe maybe I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to see. So if you're the photographer or anybody in the room, I do apologize if I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to see.
The alley break.
So I'm at a 9 here. This is a great story. The tonality through the whole image is great. The dynamic range is just phenomenal. When I look at our police officer on the right, if I follow down, and it's jumped out at me, if I follow down his leg down there, we've got this white halo. Otherwise, I'd have been at 10, but I'm at a 9 as it is. Great job.
The watcher.
So this is really, really funny to me. This is me and my friends. I'm the penguin at the top, and my friends are the two down here. This is what it's like to be around them. So I landed at a 6 on this one for just kind of some image quality going on in time of day, but absolutely hilarious. Keep going. I want to see more of this. I want to see more of my story here.
The reader.
So I was at a 5 on this one. The tonality and the dynamic range is fantastic. Handled really well. It was the motion in her hand, which may be intentional, but I couldn't get out of that when everything else is tack sharp. Everything else is absolutely still, but it was just that motion in the hand. But I think she should be happy with the fact that someone decided to capture what they're doing day in and day out. So I like it.
Wait for it.
So I'm landing on a 5 here as well, but now I'm seeing something that's bringing me up a little bit. So all right, so I've come up to a 7 here, because the first time I saw it, I was like, well, it's kind of overexposed a little bit. But the second time I've seen it, and this is something that takes a second look. I'm seeing what the intention was here, which is this high key artistic look within the camera. So they didn't have to use Photoshop for this, like some of us do. I'm actually really enjoying this tonality. First of all, it's not blown out in the hippo. Yeah, I think we could tone it down just a little bit in the hippo, but I really love what's happening here, where I'm just staying in that hippo. The water's turned to white, the background's white. Very beautiful. So yeah, well done there.
Hey,
So-
no, I'm sorry, we do have a tie, the two.
Dang it, y'all. So when it comes down to it, I like them both. I love the quality of both. I love the composition of both. So I'm going to think beyond photography, and I'm going to think difficulty. And when I think difficulty, I've photographed birds my entire life. And to get that shot on the left is, I'm not going to say impossible. I'm not going to say it's incredibly hard, but it is difficult. So I'm going to go with our nesting material.
Okay, we're going to go to advanced black and white. And the first one is cleared for landing.
So I was at a 6 on here. I feel like everything's just been very much overexposed. I know I can see the fog. So I know that, it was bumped up a good bit so that we could get to this bird that's in flight. But it took me a couple of looks in the bird itself to really find what I was looking at. And we just got so much overexposure, I couldn't get past that.
Factory inverted.
So this one took me a minute to kind of, decide where I wanted to be, because this is so cool. I mean, who thinks of taking something like this and then inverting it black and white and giving us this cool little art piece going on? What's kept me at 5 is in the upper half of the image, we've got some black streaks that are just coming out of nowhere. I don't know if that's rain or what, but it was just little black streaks across the top of the image. So watch out for that.
Foggy coast.
So here, this is a beautiful location, and I can see that the shutter was dragged because I can see that in the water down here. But I don't think it helped with the image to find where we're supposed to land, because all of the objects to look at are on the edge of the frame. So I don't get any good detail in the trees until I get to the edge of the frame. I don't get any good detail in the rocks until I get down here at the bottom. And I can't see what's going on in the far back. So I know that it's fog, and I know it's supposed to, I know it's in the title, it's part of the story, but there was just, because of the fog, there was nothing to really find in the image. 5.
Go get us food.
Every mom's story, I'm assuming, I don't have kids. So I was at a 7 on here. This is just a great once again, how do y'all get so close to these birds and they don't fly off, especially with babies in the nest? That's just fantastic. We've got some issues going on where the nest is. So the 2 sticks down here at the bottom, they're just above those sticks on the right, coming out of that corner, just above those. It looks like some sort of blurred blob coming off the top of them, and I don't see that anywhere else, so I don't think that's a cloud. But we just got some blobs going on, and it's over here where the far left chick is looking off. If you follow that beak, I can see a blob there coming off of that stick too.
Intense stare.
So I was at an 8 on this, and this is, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, this is a fox, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna call it a fox, and y'all can make fun of me if it ain't a fox later. I'm gonna call it a fox. The fox itself is exposed fantastic. I want to be 10 out of 10, but we've got this white vignette that's coming into the ground, and it's just blowing out these little, blowing out the ground, and it's creating these little black specks that draw my attention away from this perfectly exposed fox. I wanted to be at 10, I landed at 8 for the fox. If I can say one thing, y'all get rid of the white vignettes. High key.
Yeah, it seems like he,
It's still a bothersome thing, that white vignette coming in and blowing things out like that.
It's me job.
10 out of 10. This whole image is perfectly exposed. I love the details in his hair. I'm always gonna love somebody's hair, but I love the story. If you read it, help punk to get drunk. He's not asking, hey, help me get a ride, help me get some food. He's like, I'm gonna go get drunk, just help me out. So I love the story that's going on here. It's his job, folks. It's his job.
King of the North.
9. So well, so awesome. Tack sharp. I'd love to see a little bit more detail in the snow that's kind of fading off on either side. You know, bears here, and I'm trying to frame myself up in Zoom. So the snow that's like right here, I would love to see a little bit more detail there. But all in all, this is fantastic. He's the king of the North, and he's all alone, and he's looking at his reflection. So it makes me sad, but also happy that he's still there.
Large and in charge.
So I landed at a 6 on this one. You know, I know you guys have said high key, but I feel like some of the highlights that are in the background have been blown out, and I don't want to tell somebody the wrong thing and say the highlights are too bright, because I can still see some detail back there, and I can see the time of day, but I feel like it's so bright I'm not staying inside of our hippo. I'm you know, in the background, and the background's blurred, so I'm supposed to stay in the hippo, but I'm not. But I was at a 6 on this one.
Misdirection.
10 out of 10. This is very unique. This is really, really unique. And I think it was handled so well because our lady on the left is looking off to her right. And when she does that, I'm looking up here to the lady at the top, and the lady at the top is looking forward. So when I do that, I go back to the lady who's looking right, and I go back down to the lady that's at the bottom, and she's looking straight forward, which is taking me up to the lady at the top. So I'm staying inside of this triangle of women the whole time. So phenomenal job storytelling that. Great job.
Neck adjustment.
So I'm at an 8 on this one. The horse's attention, the exposure, the sky, the story going on with a woman adjusting his harness or whatever. I don't know what you call it. Bit harness neck adjustment. So well done here. I think maybe bump shadows up just a hair, not much, just a hair, so that it's not going to pure black underneath his neck. But otherwise, I'm staying, right there in horse and rider.
Sisters.
So I'm at an 8 on here. This is, gosh, you know what? I'm going to 10. I'm going to 10. I'm 10 out of 10 on this one. This is great. There's a lot. I can tell that the light's coming from behind, but it's also coming from the front. We're illuminating. They're sisters. There's some fun stories that can be told there. I don't have a sister, so I can't really relate to it, but I do know that sisters fight, sisters love each other, and sisters are similar, and I'm seeing that in the whole story. So well done there.
Strategizing.
So I'm trying to find where to land. So I'm at a 7 on this one. I can see that vignette coming around the edges, but it's also lending well to what's been done with the grass. And Michael, I know you've done infrared before. Is that what I'm looking at?
I don't think this is infrared now.
Okay. I know I've seen something similar be done where the grass becomes white. And so I'm finding that to be really cool. And I think the vignette is working here. I'm at a 7 on this. So yeah.
Tobacco plantation worker at drying shed.
So I'm at a 5 on this one. There's this kind of crunchiness going on that sometimes works. In this situation, it works somewhat. I think it could be dialed back a bit more. But it's the arm blending in with that wall in the background, where the highlights are hitting it, is just a little bit distracting there. I'm trying not to take too long, y'all. Sometimes it takes a while to look at something.
Water drop jewelry.
So I'm at a 6 on this one. Look at how sharp the duck is, the water, the reflection, the tonality. I love that. But this is again one of those situations where a vignette has pulled me out, because even the tail feathers are starting to fade off into white back there. So this was, I know it's going to be high key here, but it was already high key.
Winter's grip.
So I'm at a 7 on this one. I like what I'm seeing. Then there's a lot to see. It's very simple, and you might think, well, it's just a tree, but there's a lot to see in that tree. And so I'm just kind of discovering it all around. Exposure's nice. I've got detail in the snow. I have no detail in the sky, but that's because it's an overcast sky and it's snowing, so there's not going to be any detail back there. I love there's nothing that's pure black to draw me out. So well done here. I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more contrast, but that's just being picky.
Young swimmer.
So I'm at a 6 on here, and young swimmer. I have to read the titles because the sound's coming through a little bit funky. It's kind of hard to find the story here. I know he's swimming, or he's going to be swimming. I know that it's obviously a swimming class because there's other kids back there, but those other kids are so much brighter than our young swimmer here. that I'm being pulled out of there and, fighting everybody else except for him because he's a little bit undertoned considering the whiteout in the back. But I do like the story here. I can set. Now look, he's getting ready now. He's getting ready, so I do like that.
Okay, we have 3 10s. We need you to choose one.
I gotta find a title. Oh, well, no, that works. That works. Misdirection.
And now we go here. This one's avian flight.
So I'm at a 7 on this one. Number 1, it should be known that this is my favorite duck. Pintails are my absolute favorite ducks. So I'm a little bit biased, okay? I'm a little bit biased. We're a little bright in the body, particularly along the neck to the belly. It's very, very bright and blown out, and I know there's feathers there, and I know that there's supposed to be a pattern there, and we don't see that. But I'm enjoying the 2 males in the front and the back, and then their wings are down. Our female and our lone male in the middle, their wings are up. So I'm really enjoying not just the story here, but I don't want to say design because obviously you didn't design that, but I am going to say design of what we're looking at here. So well done.
Bathed in light.
So I was at a 5 here. This is a unique place. And I really love what's being told here, where we've got this rock in the foreground, this rock in the background, and we can see that there's distance between the two. We can see that depth and dimension. I even love that if you look at this little small rock in the foreground, there's a bird on it. And it's just kind of laying there. But I almost would have preferred to have that foreground completely blacked out so that it's a true silhouette, because I'm just kind of looking into this water here that's blown out and not really discovering the rest of the hidden treasures that are in there along with that bird.
Fresh today.
So I'm at an 8 on this one. We're seeing this is absolutely fresh. The guy is, I'm assuming just fresh off the boat. So I really like the story and the tonality here. I feel like we could have had a little bit more room up there at the top. I don't know what's there, and that's okay, but his head is so close to the top that I'm just going out of it. I'm actually looking above my screen whenever I go to his head.
Inlaid artistry.
So same thing here. I kind of wish there was a little bit more room at the top, and I'm pretty sure that there's a ceiling that starts immediately there, and that would have been okay. But his head is so close to the top. I do like that it says my workshop back there, and I'm pretty sure that that's why it was cropped there, so that we could go straight to my workshop and know that this is his workshop. I landed at an 8 on this one. I love that I see detail on what he's doing all the way around, what he's actually doing it while we're looking at it. So, and he's happy about it too. So well done.
Coors Light.
So I landed at an 8 on this one as well, because I can see that there's just sort of light in the middle, and I am staying there, but I also see that this tonality throughout the image, and I'm able to discover this flowing water, the detail in the rocks, and this gorgeous view. This is actually a really cool location, and I'm trying to figure out how this waterfall is happening. But yeah, I'm really loving this.
You ready?
So I'm at a 6 on this one. I'm kind of struggling where to land between our 2 subjects, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because I'm going back and forth between them. Our horizon's a little bit crooked. That's a little bit bothersome because I'm going a little bit, but I think the exposure is well.
And that's it.
So what we do right now is Chuck goes through and he'll give the judges' scores that came from your scores, and then he goes through and, as you saw when we started off, we all had our own scorecards and stuff like that. So he's gonna give the first, second, third and honorable mentions to those.
Do we want to, actually, while we're going through each category, if you're scrolling through the images, I can say where they placed. Or you do that?
So what he'll do is, as we go through the images, he can also give a name to each image.
Is there anything I need to do with this score sheet?
No, we've got it all written down. We wrote them all down as you were given. Thank you.
Changing faces.
Okay, this is Changing Faces, Kathy Bella, Denver Art Museum, Jim Stanwell. This is Emmett at You by Jeff Scott, and this was the honorable mention. For Looks Only by Kathy Bella. This is first place and judge's award.
She's on the dance.
Generational by Tony Lazari. Give Me a Break by Jeff Scott. Ivy by Jim Stambaugh. Lantana by Gary Hubel. Olympic Dreams, Tony Lazari. This is the second place image. One Eye on You, Tamara Rimpley, sorry. Saguaro Cactus, Gary Hubel. Scrambling to Order, Brian James. Solemn Duty, also Brian James. The Quiet Hour, Tamara Rimpley. Votech Homeschool Style, Bruce Ryman. And Windblown, also Bruce Ryman. This was the third place image. This is Asphalt Canvas. This is Carino Zaragoza. Avocet, Kathleen Sneed. Creating Sound, Michael Rhino. Ethereal, Kathleen Sneed. Frank the Blacksmith, Bruce Norman. This is the third place image.
Bruce.
Frank the Blacksmith 2, also by Bruce Norman. Gliding Along, Michael Rhino. Greek icon artist, Jane Richards. This is the first place image.
Chalk chain.
Looking for the perfect composition, Jane Richards. On the Edge, Jeff Woodard. It's a sand dunes. Playing for Guinness, Susan Langer. Saturday at the Park, Carino Zaragoza. This is the honorable mention image.
Chalk chain.
Solitude, Jeff Woodard. This is the third place and the judges award. The Boss Lady, Rand Mingali. And the librarian, Susan Langer. Drink Up, Chuck Rasco. Smile, Dave Purcell. And Whittling Away, Dave Purcell.
Good job, Dave.
Yep.
Nice. One of them had to be first place.
Yep, Dave took one and I did 1 and 3. I took second on that one. All right, Black and White Digital. This is It's a Roll Up, Bruce Ryman. Late Afternoon, Tony Lazari. Nasty Material, Tamara Rimpley. This is the Judges Award.
Great.
Peak, Jim Stanball. Piano Man, Jeff Scott. Reflection of the Fountain, Gary Hubel. Sunday Men's Club, Kathy Bella. This is the honorable mention. Taming the Flame, Bruce Ryman. This is first place.
Good job, Bruce.
Tea Ceremony, Kathy Bella. The Alley Break, Tamara Rimpley. This is the third place image.
Good job.
Yeah, that's good. I like that one.
The Watcher, Tony Lazari. The Weeder, Jeff Scott. And Wade for it, Carolyn Ryman. This is the second place image. Third for landing, Karina Zaragoza. This is the honorable mention.
Good job, Karina.
Factory inverted, Stephen Holst. Foggy Coast, Jeff Woodard. Go Get Us Food, Michael Rhino. Intense Stare, Jane Richards. This is the second place image.
Good job, Jane.
It's My Job, Susan Langer. King of the North, Brandon Golly. This is the first place image.
That's
Yeah. Large and in Charge, Bruce Norman. Misdirection, Susan Langer. This is the Judge's Award. Neck Adjustment, Michael Rhino. Sisters, Kathleen Sneed. Strategizing, Jane Richards. Tobacco plantation worker at the drying shed, Bruce Norman. This is the third place image. Water drop jewelry, Karina Zaragoza. Winter's grip, Jeff Woodard. And young swimmer, Stephen Holst. Avian flight, Phil Rubino. This would be the honorable mention in the pro category. Bathed in Light, Darren White. Fresh Today, Dave Purcell. This would be the third place image.
good.
Inlaid Artistry, also Dave Purcell. This would be the second place image. Thor's Light, Aaron White. You ready? Chuck Rasco, first place image.
All right, well, thank you, Cory, for the comments tonight. Thanks for the, again, the inspiration and. I'll just say, I know that there were some, when it came to Heike and, some of the, the borders and so forth, the outside of it, I think our interpretation, I think a lot of people were to try and make as much of the image close to white. I think that's probably where some of that difference was in terms of, with the judging, but again, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the, the points, and I really appreciate taking the time to do this, and especially calling it, it's getting late your time out there in Alabama, so I appreciate coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you all for having me.
Great, thanks. And thank you real quick, thank you everybody for submitting. Congratulations to those that won awards. Huge thank you to Jane Richards for all that she does.
Yeah.
Then on that side of it before of compiling all the numbers in that, and or I should say all of the images, categorizing them, putting them out into the onto the Whiteman catalogs and so forth, and that, and then to Chuck Rasco for I've been on that desk also on that, and as the images are coming out, he's just tabulating all of the member scores and so forth, and that it's a lot of work that he puts into that. So appreciate that also.